What's going on, guys? Welcome back to LOI Fan TV and welcome to Cautiously Optimistic. Joined this evening by Adzi, and I think Lima will be joining us as well very, very soon. But Adzi, how are you, pal?
Not too bad, not too bad. Sitting 7 points clear, top of the league, despite the result on Monday. So I can't complain with anything at all just yet.
Yeah, not
Yourselves?
just yet. Not just yet. As for myself now, I'm not in too bad form. Wrong side. Not in too bad form myself now.
You're doing well.
Happy as Larry. Yeah, 4 wins on the bounce, which we will go into later on, as well as the Irish squad as well. We will be reacting to that during the stream as well. Looking forward to doing that. A couple of big, kind of not surprises, but a couple of interesting ones in there as well. So there'll be plenty to chat about with that. But we will jump straight in, Adzi. I hate to do it to you, but you know what? You've had so much success that I don't feel too bad fit, to be honest, because you've been lifting too many trophies for my liking as of late. So we will start off with a bit of bad news and a bad night's work for Shamrock Rovers on Monday night, falling to Drogheda United. A 1-0 loss. Danny Mandrew sent off, I believe, wasn't he? As well. So
Jacko injured as well now too. So
take us through it.
Look, it started off promising like that. Rovers had, as always, had most of the ball against the likes of these teams as well. Had a few chances. Danny Mandrew had a good free kick that was stopped by the goalkeeper, and so on. It looked like it was going to be. It looked like it was going to be comfortable for us just as long as we got the goal. But Drogheda against the run of play, great ball in, great cross, and then Ryan Brennan with the header.
He's a good player, Ryan Brennan, in fairness.
Yeah, he's been around for years as well. He knows
he's scored 15, I think, for us last season, 15, 16 goals last season. Like, yeah, he knows what the back of the net is like.
Yeah, he's very good player. And so Drogheda are obviously lucky to have him. But once Drogheda scored, of course, they shut up shop, and then we found it hard to break through. And even you could tell by the 60th minute, it just wasn't going to be our night at all. Just there was nothing really falling for us. You know, where sometimes you need that bit of luck, there was nothing there for us at all. Mandrew being sent off obviously kind of killed that a little bit for us too. And then Jack going off injured. Now, he went off injured again Tuesday, and then plays again Monday, and he gets off injured now. So he looks like he could be out for a bit, hopefully not too long, but we'll wait and see what happens, what Bradley says. Frustrating night for Rovers, but as I said, it's one of those nights I'm just glad that Sligo did us a favour. So there's still that gap maintained. Now, I know we could have put 3 or 4 games between ourselves and Derry, but if you'd asked me if we're going to lose tonight, but also Derry are going to lose, you know, I don't mind that in hindsight now, you know.
Makes it less of a blow, like, on the night. And I think we have to touch on it. I think there was a little bit of crowd trouble, I think, in the away end as well. I believe there might have been a couple of things thrown onto the pitch. What did you hear about that yourself? Did you hear any bits of
pieces? I just as much as anyone else, really. I didn't really ask anyone that was up there what happened, but as far as I know, something was thrown at the linesman, which again, it's just not on. There's been a few instances like that where over now this season. Obviously, the Bowes one stands out up in Dalymount. That was absolutely wrecked. Down up in Finn Harps 2 weeks ago, there was one Stewart. He got a hard time off a few of the lads, which was we were beside, and we were kind of like, "What he's doing? He's only doing his job," and so on.
You get on with Finn Harps as well, don't you? A bit as well. There's no beef there, like, really, like.
You mix in with the crowd up there, you know. You go into the away end, you're passing home fans and so on. You go in with them, and you're there talking to all the stewards and whatnot, and they love having us up there. But I don't know. It's getting very frustrating now. Like I'm kind of used to it at this stage, you know. Like, it happens enough with us, but it's a thing you shouldn't be used to, because it's not going to entice new fans and stuff coming in and so on. I know, from what I understand or what I saw, the referees and linesmen didn't have a good game on Monday as well. That's no excuse for throwing anything at them either. So it was probably fan frustration from that, but like, that's no excuse as well. They still need to clamp down on these. They need to be a lot more serious. Like that, I don't know who was doing it, but you can't be doing that. No matter how bad a referee or how good a referee is, you can't be launching things at the linesmen and stuff as well. They're only human at the same time. You know, it's only a matter of time. Say if somebody invades the pitch again, say like the pitch invades that happened over in England last while, something's going to happen as well, and it's going to be it's gonna be even worse than what it is.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and yeah, hate to see it. Moving on to Shells, of course. Pride of Dublin, massive 2-0 win in the Dublin Derby. A huge Dublin Derby.
That one.
Yeah, huge Dublin Derby at Talcott Park. Good warm up for our Dublin Derby this Friday evening as well. Good win, solid kind of 2-0 win over UCD. No complaints. It's not going to blow you away, but it's a good solid 3 points. Sean Boyd on the score sheet again, which is a good sign. You're starting to put a few in as well.
How many goals do you have now?
I think it's like 5-ish. I think around, give or take. It's like not bad. Like yeah. He hasn't been starting every game as well. Dan Carr's been in and out of the team as well. So he's starting to put a few goals together. Similar to Jack Moylan, who also got on the score sheet as well just after the break. Not sure if you saw the goal, but it was like a 1-2 with Luke Byrne. He passed it from the tip off to Luke Byrne. Luke Byrne absolutely launches it forward, lands to Jack Moylan, and he just lobs it over the keeper and scores. It's mental goal. Shocking defending, but mad goals. Proper route one stuff from kickoff. Absolutely. UCD did miss a penalty. Liam Kerrigan did miss the penalty, and it kind of highlights the loss of Colin Whelan. Obviously, picked up a bad injury. I think he's out for 6 months or something. So
out for the season.
Yeah, so they're done and dusted. If they weren't already, they are now. With Colin Whelan out as well. It's a huge blow, and you see him taking that penalty and burying it. Really, I know you can't ever take that for granted, but more than likely he absolutely buries that. But touching on Shells, a couple of the fans getting excited, saying possible European shout and everything, kind of out of the question. I suppose we're 4 points behind Pats with a game in hand, but I think Damien Duff put it perfectly after the match. You can't get too low when you have a few losses, and you can't get too high after a few wins. You have to kind of stay grounded and just keep plowing away. It's a long season, and see where you end up. But listen, we're 6th in the league at the moment. To give me that at the end of the year, and I'm very, very happy.
I think at this stage as well, not to get your hopes or anything, but the gap between like 4th and 7th down at Bows, it's so anyone could be anywhere on any given week as well. Yeah. So it's not like it's unrealistic. I still think the target for Shells is to stay up, regardless of how well they're doing. Are they exceeding expectations now? To me, yeah. But it doesn't rule out anything at all. But like that, it's a project with Shells. Damien Duff knows that, and fans, I know it's easy to get carried away with these things, but you don't want to be putting. That was the thing with Duff at the start. People are going to put on like unrealistic expectations of him. You don't want Shells fans doing that now. That we're on a bit of a run, that we're close enough to it. I just think it's get through this season like that around the 7th or 6th spot, or at least avoiding the relegation thing, which I think they will at this stage, because the gap between
Shells and Harps is 14 points now.
Well,
it's huge.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, so
it's just like Finn Harps are going to make up 14 points. If they do that, then Ollie Hawkins manager of the season.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very unlikely. So I think for Shells, it's just now like maintaining those results as well. Looking forward to the big games. I think they have gotten those results that we are talking about. The smaller results that they needed. The likes of your UCD wins and so on. So they're getting them. So it's a matter of time now where they, kick on, and Friday is going to be a massive occasion. I'm sure we're going to touch on it at some stage. So
definitely,
it's going well for them. They're playing well. They're playing nice football. We were saying briefly before that they are gelling together, which is
for sure. Yeah, you can see it now.
You can see it. It was always going to happen. Especially given the time. It's probably still a bit too early, because Duff's going to want to add to his squad eventually too.
Of course, yeah.
But it's looking good so far for Shells anyway.
Yeah, and all the talk of Park News has been good. So it's been a really, really positive start on and off the pitch, really, for Shells this season. Kind of touched on it earlier, but Sligo Rovers doing you a massive, massive favour there recently with a 2-1 win over Derry City. A last-minute goal from Seamus Keogh, sealing the win for them. Jamie McGonigal got the score sheet again for Derry, who's been banging them in so far this season. But does maintain that 7-point gap between yourselves and Derry, which is it doesn't seem like that seems like more than it should be or something, doesn't it? It's 7 points is so significant. And you feel like that was Derry's chance to maybe make up some ground. He was dropping points at Drogheda. It was their opportunity to kind of make up some ground there. Obviously, Sligo are no mugs. That was going to be a tough place to go. Interesting, obviously, off the back of Buckley getting the sack as well. Quickly, just touching on that, what were your thoughts on that? Do you think it was a little bit? They said it was mutual, but I think it is a case
I thought it was a weird one.
Harsh one. Yeah.
I thought it was harsh. I don't know. What were people expecting of Sligo? They got off to a great start, granted. The last few weeks, since we drew with them 2-2 in Tala, they haven't been as good, but they're a small market team. They're not expected to go and challenge for a league title. They might get a cup run, but they weren't expected to do much anyway. I don't know why you're sacking Buckley.
Fifth or fourth is where they should be, like kind of maybe on the outskirts of getting a European spot. Like it's
that's it. Like I feel sorry for Buckley because where is he going to go from here? It's not like
to know.
There's any teams especially in the Premier Division that that need a manager. Like
Bose
actually. Would he do that? Could he go Rovers, Pats, and then Bose? Yes, he could actually.
He fully could. Yeah, I'd say he would. To be honest, yeah.
Well, if he got some back in, but I don't see that being for a while, especially with the deal Keith Long is on. But
I know.
I feel bad for Buckley. He's one of those that's good to have him in the league. He knows the league inside out. He'll turn the team around as well. I do feel bad for him. He's a likable character.
He's a gentleman. Yeah, he's always been very. Whenever I've kind of interviewed him, and he's always had a lot of time for him. Kind of just a nice bloke. You can kind of tell by him, and I think a lot of people in the football world and stuff on Twitter and everything, you can kind of see a lot of the respect kind of pouring in from previous players that he's coached and stuff like that as well. So he seems like a top bloke, and I'm sure he'll find a job. No problem, because he is obviously a fantastic manager. I even saw, I think Greg Bolger tweeted out saying like we let the manager down, like it shouldn't have come to this and all this kind of stuff. So you can tell he still had the respect of the dressing room, I think. Greg Bolger obviously being one of the more senior pros in that squad. So I do think it was premature. Definitely could have given him a bit more time. It's still so early in the season, and as we were looking at there, like they're not that far off Pats down fourth. Like it's only a few results and you're right back in the mix. Like it's not.
It was a bad spell for them, but
yeah,
that was about it. There was nothing. Not like they got off a terrible start of the season and they're down in 7th or 8th. Not at all. It's
no.
It's I don't know. I don't really agree with it. It's a weird one because now who do you get in to replace him? I know they have.
John Caulfield's apparently being tipped. Did you see it?
Yeah, not sure how I feel about that. I think Buckley plays nicer football, and I'm not saying that Caulfield's a bad manager or anything like that, but I think Buckley has done more in the league for longer as well.
Yeah.
So I find it very harsh.
He lost his top goal scorer Johnny Kenny from last season. He lost his best defender John Mahon from last season. Like you can't just expect them to kind of replace these players instantly and everything to click and for them to be as good as last year. So yeah, I do.
He's probably going to lose McGinty now. They're going to lose McGinty at the end of the season, I reckon. Anyway.
Yeah.
Or at some stage to whoever. It's always going to be a difficult job if a player is playing well in a Sligo or a Drogheda or a team like that. They're going to be snapped up and brought, given good wages and so on to come up to Dublin or come up to one of us and play like I know Sligo are full time as well, but they're getting into Dublin and so on, and it's more upmarket in a way, So
yeah, probably more job opportunities on if they're to look into doing other things and stuff like that as well. So all plays a factor. Something that we can probably both smile about is the demise of Bohemians this season. I was seeing 7th spot and an absolutely shocking performance at Richmond Park.
A Tunde hat-trick.
The Tunde Owolabi hat-trick. Surely seals keep long safe. No joking.
Not respect to Tunde, but I'll tell you how bad. What I heard a trend tonight was one of the lads he goes to Pats now. And one of his mates go, but he doesn't drink at all. Like he does not drink. He said, if Tunde ever scores a hat-trick for Pats, we're all going on the lash in town. Because he'll never drink. So that would actually happen.
They have
so
to do
it. So he'll have to go on the rip.
Yeah.
I can't get over that. But Bowes
Tunde scored. He scored one hat-trick previously in the League of Ireland, and it was against Pats last season for Finn Harps.
There you go.
So funny, isn't it? So funny.
Oh, there you go.
But yeah, Tunde Owolabi with the 3 goals. What's going on at Bowes, Adsy? What's going on? Like, I know we're enjoying it and we're laughing about it, but what's the actual buzz there? Like, have I lost you? Hello?
What's the sorry I cut off there?
Sorry. I was just saying about Bohemians. I know we obviously have a laugh about it and we're enjoying in their misery, but what's going on with the results there at the moment? Like,
they got a good result last week.
Yeah.
Didn't they? Did they?
I think they won the previous game before it, didn't they?
Yeah.
They beat Sligo 2-1 at home. That sealed Liam Buckley's fate.
Oh well.
If you lose the Bowes, fair enough. You have to get.
It's a weird one for Bowes. That's they drew with Hughes in Dalymount. They've lost to us twice. They obviously lost to Pats then. I don't know what score the Pats game was the first time they played. But it's quite poor from at the moment.
Looking at their back four, Adsy, Max Murphy right back. I've heard some Bowes fans saying on Twitter he's not good enough for the Leinster Senior League. Like, genuinely, Tariq Wilson left back defensively, he's so suspect. Like last season, he was great getting forward and stuff, but defensively, he's a mess. Like centre half Kieran Kelly has been good previously, but I heard it against Pats. I didn't actually see the game, but I heard he was shocking, especially in the second half. I heard he was outrageous. And Jordan Doherty, centre half beside him, who's a midfielder,
they can't get the players. They do have players that have stuck with them, like your Tariq Wilson, the likes of your Dawson Devoy, midfielder. Connor Livingston's been there for years. Like they have a inherited squad of not inherited squad because that's kind of contradicting what I've said previous, but they still have players that have been there for years and so on and have played well. But it's all like I keep saying it. I keep saying this about those. It's always going to be harder to get players, but they've gotten so much worse.
Yeah,
like I thought last season. Granted, I know they did well in Europe, and they still finished 5th or whatever, and it was deemed as a success. Like, whatever. But they don't even look like a team with a desire to win these games as well.
I know. Yeah.
They're getting bullied off the park by, and that shouldn't be happening in any Dublin derby at all. It's usually Bowes are the enforcers.
Yeah. Keith Buckley's in there. He's kind of leading the front. Keith Ward's in the dressing room still. A bit of character, kind of that leadership.
But someone has to take over that at this stage now.
That's it. Yeah. Can't keep making that excuse.
No, we've been saying it all year that fair enough, they're taking the spine out of their team, and those characters are gone. But you need lads like your Livingstons, your Kieran Kelly, your Talbots. They all need to step up. And I'm not holding them. I can't hold back in saying that they haven't stepped up to the plate. They don't seem like they're not strong enough mentally as well.
Yeah. Even Andy Lyons has that mentality, doesn't he, of a winner, and he'd be that kind of a leader for them. Like, he's a big loss for them as well. Like,
well, Andy Lyons is adapted to us, and he's for that game against Bowes. He was not wound up in like a bad way, but he was obviously up for it as well. You could tell by at the end of the game when I think Pico shoved him to us, and he was lapping it up. That's against his former club, and who a few months prior to that was going around in a bleeding convertible around Fisborough celebrating the result. It's like he's obviously a massive loss as well, but they need to start getting more characters in. I don't know. They need to be looking. I don't know if I'm putting too much pressure on the young fellas, but they need to be looking at promise. Like, look, he's kind of a cult hero at Bowes nearly at this stage. I know we only came into the team late last season, but he needs now to step up. Like, look, I need to take these games with a scruff of the neck. I need to go into training and start holding lads accountable, and so on. I don't want to make this a rant on Bowes as well, because Pat's also, by all accounts, played very well too. You know,
but Pats haven't even been great recently as well. Though. Like Pats
they haven't.
They lost the Shells in the game before that at Richmond. Like they're not pulling up trees. Pats like there's been talk of Clancy getting the boot as well. Like it's not as if they're playing against the best team in the league here and getting spanked 3-0. Like it's they're playing against a fairly average team. Like
they're both not great recent enough. I know Pats have been off the ball since they beat us, I think, and I don't know, like that they still have those players that not only have the quality, but they might have a bit of character in them as well, like your Forrester, your Jamie Lennons. I know Owen Doyle hasn't gotten off to like the restart he wanted back in the league.
Yeah,
but I think it's a win that Pat's needed as well, and it's obviously going to give Tunde a lot of confidence. Scoring a hat-trick in a Dublin derby, of course, it's going to do his confidence like a world of good. So Pat should be obviously delighted with that. Bowes, if I was a Bowes fan, I'd be worried at the moment. It's like where are they going to go from here? Like I don't see them getting to a cup final either. I don't see them challenging for a cup. They just don't have that bite that they've had in previous years, and it's time for not necessarily for Keelan to go, but players need to step up as well. I find it kind of feel sorry for Keelan too as well, because they're not stepping up as well as they should be, but we'll wait and see what happens.
Yeah. We'll move on to the final result, which was Finn Harps losing 1-0 at home to Dundalk. It was Daniel Kelly with the winner for Dundalk in this one, and Dundalk are quietly sneaking into this title race. Maybe not so much. Well, they're 1 point behind Derry with a game in hand.
Oh yeah, they could well be in
they've stuck into it. Like they've kind of come from nowhere. Like we kind of said this all along. They had a lot of draws at the start, and they've kind of tipped away and kind of kept under the radar. They're right in there. Like,
well, they had a good win up in Derry last week too.
Yeah.
So they went 1-0 up, and then they went 1-0 up fairly early on, and then Derry scored like late in the second half, and then the Dundalk got the winner eventually. But like that, they're going through their own rebuild as well, kind of, but they just have better resources than in comparison to other teams. So they are doing well. They have a good base. I know Keith Ward. I know people wrote him off for years. Even my manager was at Bowes said like, "Oh, he's done." But I think is he only 30 now?
Keith Ward,
he's maybe 30 or something.
I think he's like 31, 32 maybe. It feels like he's been around for a year. Like maybe he is only that. Like
he has been around for years. That's the thing. But he still has that quality. There's a reason Stephen O'Donnell brought him into Dundalk.
Yeah,
he still has that quality
as well.
Yeah, and like it's what you need like that. He's probably good to have around his restroom and so on. He's probably a bit of cracking like that. He can lift you and stuff.
It seems but like even
but even Hoban's picking up form again. Who else? Even Stephen Bradley is. I can't remember. He hasn't really been up to much since the start of the season, really. So they are slowly doing a lot better, and they're getting there, but they're probably just not quite there yet as well.
Yeah.
It's probably too late for them to come into it.
Potentially.
Well.
I think Rovers are looking like they could just run away. But you say that, and then they're...
You never know.
You never know, yeah.
I'd be worried about
burnout.
Yeah, it's worrying for us, but I'd be worried about how O'Donnell sets his teams up. Granted, I know with all due respect to Finn Harps, they don't look in the best of shapes at the moment.
We'll touch on that as well. Like, they're 9 points behind Drogheda now, who are in 8th. 9 points behind at this stage. Like, that's a big gap, like a significant gap built up there. Like, are they like they're lucky to have that comfort of UCD behind them, and they'll be in a playoff match at the end of the season, but really poor from them this season, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like we expect more of Finn Harps because I think everyone like likes them and enjoys them, but they're always going to be in and around that like playoff spot now. I don't think they'll catch up with Drogheda. I know it's 9 points and we're barely halfway through the season. I think we're just at the halfway point.
Yeah.
But it's still so tough to make those 9 points back, especially Drogheda. They especially getting a win like that against us.
Yeah, they nick results, don't they? They're just tipping away and nicking results here and there and stuff.
They only beat them, Doc. It's like they're gonna have to have some turnaround again, Harps, to get them. It's gonna be so tough because it's not like Drogheda aren't necessarily like a terribly bad team either. As you mentioned before, they have a few good players here and there, and they have a bit of experience and so on. But they're not. I don't see them losing that 9 point gap either. I think it's Finn Harps are in trouble. Whatever about their recruitment that's happened during the off season. I know they're working with limited resources, but it's always going to be a fight for them. It's always a dogfight.
Yeah, absolutely. If we don't finish 8th, I don't think we have a chance of winning the playoffs either. Harps are in trouble. I don't see them catching Drogheda or Shells, and Cork or Galway should edge them in the playoffs. Well, I think that needs to be changed to catching Drogheda or Bows, to be honest, because Shells are clear. Like Shells are clear, John.
14 points. We're saying nothing.
We've had so many departures from last season from players and manager or staff like Hegarty. Yeah, there has been a big kind of good few significant departures, which has been definitely a shame. From a Finn Harps point of view. We'll move on to our predictions now. Before we do that, though, guys, if you don't mind, please do drop a like on the stream if you are enjoying it. It is much appreciated. If you can hit that 20 like mark and go from there, and then if you can't subscribe, it does mean the world. We're so close to the 3K mark, so it really does encourage us to keep going with the streams and stuff. So we do appreciate all your support. But yeah, jump into our predictions. I think we'll leave Rovers Shells till the end, as you'll be just for that bit of intrigue. But
build up the tension.
Yeah, exactly. But we'll start off with UCD against Sligo Rovers, and this is a one-way street for me. It won't be terribly easy, but I don't see anything other than a Sligo win, especially after their good win last time out as well.
Sligo win. I know after Buckby departing, a lot of players want to prove themselves and so on too. So they want to be kicking on from that there result. So simple for me, Sligo win.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't need to say an awful lot on that one. Dundalk, St. Pat's will be a cracker, I'd say. Obviously, that Stephen O'Donnell aspect to it as well. Obviously, they had the game in Richmond already, but this one, first time they're meeting in Oriel Park. Tough one to call. I think Dundalk will edge it, I think, in my book. But it won't be easy. Pat's obviously taking some confidence from that Bohemians win. Tunde in flying form, but I think Dundalk will edge them here.
It was 1-1 the last time, was it?
I think it might have been 0-0.
Yeah, it was a draw the last time. And there's a bit of afters last time with O'Donnell and stuff. So no doubt O'Donnell will want to roll up to Dundalk fans and so on, get them on his back and, have a bit of a fiery aspect to it. I'd fancy Dundalk in this one. I think like that there, despite Pats' win, I know Pats are high on confidence, but I think Dundalk can grind out a result like that now as well and just extend that gap.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'd go Dundalk as well myself there. Another one that you could say probably foregone conclusion. I think Derry will bounce back from their losses at Sligo. Obviously, Finn Harps are in poor nick at the moment, in dire straits. Can't see them picking up anything. It's hard to imagine a world where they pick up anything here. Derry have been they've been inconsistent, not overly kind of consistent as of late, but they have enough quality. Yeah,
I'd go for Derry. They'll need to. But that's 3 losses on the bounce for them now too. This is the game they need. I know you can say after every loss, this is the game they need to bounce back from, but they'll need to get the confidence back. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was 4-5-0 here or something to Derry.
You can see them having a bit of bite to them after last time out.
They'll be wound up, so they will. So just getting a bit of getting angry about what's happened and then just taking it out on poor Finn Harps. It's one can hope for a miracle, but it's
plucky Finn Harps.
They'll do us a favour at some stage. I know they'll do us a favour.
If it was in Donegal, you might back the draw, but it's hard to see anything other than a home win in that one, unfortunately. Or fortunately for both of us, actually. Sorry, fortunately for me, maybe not so fortunately for you. Because I'm half thinking like, do I need to be looking over my shoulder at Finn Harps, or are we like kind of like is that I don't want to get too complacent like.
I'll write them off.
Yeah.
No pressure on me.
Next up, a tough game for Bohemians playing against the side that smashed yous on Monday evening.
Smashed? Whoa. Hold on here. Whoa. That's a stretch. So it is.
The side that thumped yous there a few nights ago, Drogheda. This is genuinely a tough game to call.
Yeah.
It is. Like, I was thinking a home win, but it's not guaranteed by a long stretch. Like,
not at all. Like, it goes without saying. We've said it plenty of times. Drogheda should be going into this game. We've beaten the champions. We've held them. Why can't we, get a result here against Bows? Because we know we know Bows are poor. Not Drogheda aren't in great shape either, but they beat us. So it's this is anyone's game. I feel Bows will want to bounce back, of course. Especially at home. I don't know, it's a tough one. I think you go for a draw.
Yeah, I think I'll back a draw there as well. I don't think I don't know how you'd approach it, because I think Drogheda obviously went to Pats and drew 1-1 as well as at that one, and wasn't a great game, but I think Drogheda are able to like kind of sit back, and they have to kind of keep a good shape, and they can contain the good sides, and that Bows defense is so leaky. Like, Drogheda can definitely nick a goal here. Like, 100% they have a goal in them here.
I'll go for 2-1 Drogheda. I could see Drogheda scoring, then Bows equalising, and then in the 80th minute or something, Drogheda get
on the break.
Win.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I like that.
I go for it. Yeah, fuck
it. Why not? Yeah. The outside share. You might get good odds on that, actually.
Good deal.
I'd go for a 1-1. I think 1-1 is what I can like envisage here. But if Bows, like, if they're not winning these games, there's no hope. Like, obviously wouldn't write them off. But
if Bows lose this game, I know I've said 2-1, but if they lose it by 2 goals at least, Keith Lang, I reckon he's gone.
I can't even begin to imagine the scenes when if they lose this like 3-1 or something. The scenes of them walking off the pitch, they are gonna get absolutely dog's abuse. Like, they're gonna get, like, it's hard to, like, it would be hard to recover from that. Like, and if it's not already too far gone, like a loss here, even if it's a 1-0 or something, like it could be getting to that stage where, like, I was just looking at this comment from Nenny earlier on, very close to losing faith in Keith Long. I think they're probably a home loss to Drogheda away from a full-on blowout there, like a big kickoff at the end of full time.
It'll be a meltdown. But I love this here. It would be fantastic.
I can take the smile on your face.
I'm really on goosebumps now just thinking. If they do that,
full-on meltdown that you're getting the goosebumps at your head.
The sacked in the morning chant.
Yeah.
Next following morning, 9 o'clock, statement from Bohemian Football Club, Keith Long. By the way, 100% fan owned. I'll get that in. Please.
So Bows, after this, I'm trying to just see, they have got Bohemians are playing. Sorry, 1 second. I just want to see who they're playing next. Dundalk, Pats, Rovers. Sorry, this is St. Pat's. I just want to check this because it could be a tough game.
Yeah.
Bows have a Finn Harps away and Shells at home. A couple of nice decent fixtures. So not easy, obviously, but
that's not easy for Bows at all.
but it's not. It's like they're probably like getting games against the sides that they need to be getting results against, though. Your Finn Harps, your Shells, your Droghedas, they're the types of teams that Bohs need to be beaten.
Finn Harps up there, that's like it's rotten.
Yeah. I don't see them having the character going up there and getting a win. They just don't have the character in the squad.
They never win up there as well. They always lose.
Yeah, they always lose or draw max like.
So it's I don't know. I don't. Yeah, it's a great situation to be in for a Rovers fan.
Yeah, I'm loving it, to be honest, as well.
Yeah, great.
It's just so good, isn't it? Like, I just love it if Drogheda turn them over. Like, it'd just be too good. Like, I just could you imagine? Because I kind of want to stay ahead of Bohs as well, and it is a long shot that we're going to beat Rovers in Tallaght. Like, so, it'd be great for Bohs to not even not just a draw would be nice as well.
Great
but I do think if Drogheda can spank Bohs there, it's curtains for long. I'm not even saying that I think it should be that case, because I think he's a good manager. I think he's a good manager. I think it's tough to rebuild the squad year in, year out. There's a lot of excuses there. I think they should never really sack him. I don't think they would sack him though, because he's on too long a contract. But
too long of a contract, stupid contract.
Yeah, it was 4 years there. What, a year or two ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, they should have just. I don't know what they did that for. They should have at least given them more backing. I don't know what the resources they had to do with that, but the position they're in, they made their bed. They can lay in it.
Absolutely. And we will, of course, touch on Shamrock Rovers against Shelbourne tomorrow night. Yeah, it's tomorrow night, isn't it? Yeah. Doesn't feel like Thursday. Tomorrow night, in the Tallaght Stadium, of course.
Over 6,000 tickets sold, by the way.
I heard that. I'd say it'd be sold out, to be honest. I'd say it'd be done. I think Shells' away allocation's nearly gone as well, if not already.
I can't go myself. I'm raging.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I might be able to. I'm not 100% sure just yet. I'm praying I can, but it should be a very interesting game. Obviously, Shells on a 4-game win streak coming into this. How many wins? What win streak are Rovers on going into this again?
Saying another.
Save it for next week.
7 points clear. That's all that matters to me.
Yeah.
We're in the title race. Too big to worry about minnows.
Do you know what? When we played at Talca, I thought we were unfortunate not to get something. I think it was an Aaron Green goal very late on, one of frees. I thought we were kind of deserving of a point in that one, probably. It's going to be a tough game for Shells. They're going to have to try and stay in it. Sean Boyd, of course, returned to Tallaght Stadium. Dan Carr might get on as well, the likes of that. So it's a couple of different narratives and stuff as well, but it's hard to look at anything realistically other than a home win, to be honest. What would you... I know you're probably going to think similarly. I think
going from the last game that was played in Talca, Rovers were kind of getting into a good run of form, but they'd only started it, so it was first half we could have made 3 or 4-0 up. Shells were quite poor tonight overall, but the fact we couldn't score a second goal turned it into drag fight. So it was very scrappy, and that played in the Shells' hands, of course, and then of course we got the late winner or whatnot. But it's a different Shells team now, and it's a different Rovers team now.
Yeah,
Rovers are playing a lot better with the ball, and they're more exciting to watch than they have been since that game. So are Shells. So
definitely. JJ Lunny has had 4 starts this season. We've won all 4 games. He's come into the side and it's been a different team. I was kind of just touching on it just before the stream there. That kind of, we had Ade Irvin and Mark Coyle. They're just a bit too similar, maybe. They're both kind of that enforcer, where neither of them are kind of the most creative midfielder. Whereas JJ Lunny is so comfortable on the ball, great passer of the ball, and gives you really good energy as well in midfield. And he's been such a revelation since coming into the side, and he's really added so much to midfield. They're playing better, we're creating more chances. Jack Boylan looks a different player. It's just looking a lot more positive. Yeah,
like as I said, they're playing nicer football. It's going to be interesting to see how they set up, because we both set up with a similar formation. With the 5 at the back, and wing backs going right up as well, like that. The 2 midfielders we talked about, and then the 3 up front. I don't know if Shels are going to open up on Tala's pitch as well, because it's a much bigger pitch than Tolka. If the game's in Tolka, it's obviously in their favour too. But that it could either work really well, or it could be a complete detriment to them. I see them closing up a little bit, and then not necessarily countering whatnot, but just being very tight at the back, keeping it, trying to absorb Rovers when they get the ball, then just start playing real quick. Yeah. I don't see them holding on to much of it, but trying to get what they're doing at the moment, but just trying to pick up the pace for a little bit more. So it's a very hard one to call, say, from a neutral point of view.
It's a fact as well. Are Mandrew and Byrne both missing the game confirmed? Obviously, Mandrew, yes.
Mandrew is Byrne
to be seen. Talking
to Soccer Warrior, it's looking very unlikely.
That's huge, to be honest. Both
I wouldn't play Jacko. I wouldn't. I'd rather see him fit for a longer run than him getting 45 minutes.
Might be like a Berkey, Towell and Gaffney or Green or something up as a front three or something.
I think it could be. I think, like, just briefly, I think it could be O'Neill and Towell, and that, like, two centre midfielders, and up top would be Berkey, Gaffney, and maybe Watts. Watts can do that role as well.
Yeah,
I find it could be that. But look, it remains to be seen. It's a massive blow for us having those two players out, because again, they're our two best players of the season, especially Andrew the last few weeks since he's come back into the team. Since that Shels game, funny enough, he's been on fire. You'll miss his pace in behind, so it's going to be a different approach to the game completely.
Yeah.
Predictions. Go for. I'll go for Rovers 2-1 again.
2-1 is fair, I think. Yeah, it's gonna be tight. I think I can see us scoring. I think. Scoring. Yeah. Both teams score. BTTS definitely. Definitely less threatening not seeing Mandrew and Byrne on the pitch. Like it's from a team sheet point of view, just psychologically, definitely like less threatened. Just like kind of, it's maybe a psychological thing. Obviously, probably your two best attackers. Yeah, that'd be really fair to say.
Yeah, I got with that.
Missing both of them, like it is huge. So I think Rovers should just about have enough. But 2-1, I think, is a good shout.
Yeah, I'll go 2-1 Rovers. Dublin's green and white once again.
Yeah, wouldn't go that far. Actually, John, a draw.
You're predicting the Rovers win. Jeez, some Shels fan you are.
Right. Just trying to be impartial.
Can't be impartial in these things. So what was the pundit on Match of the Day? Was it Lawrenson? Or what was it?
What did he say?
Because he's Liverpool through and through. He predicted Liverpool to win like 158 weeks in a row.
Oh my god, I saw that. He
probably didn't realise himself. I've probably done the same as well.
Yeah.
Look, you can't be impartial. You have to back your team all the way.
Isn't that so funny? Like 158 games in a row. Like, it's so good.
Listen,
it's so funny.
I back it.
I
do the same.
He gets paid to do the job as well. So he must know something.
He gets some sponsors in.
That's it. We will, of course, move on to the big news yesterday, which, of course, was the Irish squad being announced. Quickly pull it up on screen here. Might just go position by position. Might be the easiest way to do it. In goal, no surprises at all. Kelleher, Bazunu, Mark Travers. Nothing else was going to be expected there at all. For you, who's number one is probably the only kind of interesting question to ask regarding the goalkeepers. As a Rovers fan, there's probably a bit of not bias actually, because he's potentially world class. Like, so I won't accuse you of being biased.
It's so hard to tell, because since the last time I think we were on, Travers has gotten Championship Goalkeeper of the Year. He's promoted now in the Premier League with Bournemouth. Yeah. Bazunu looks like he's getting a move to the Premier League. He looks like he's going to Southampton.
Yeah.
Kelleher can play on the big occasion as well. Like, I'd still go for Gavin Bazunu, because he's done nothing wrong in an Irish jersey. He's been exceptional. Sure. He's still gonna be my number one, but you can argue any of those three.
Yeah,
I'd have no problem with that whatsoever. Just based off Bazunu, his performances against Portugal, and his confidence and how he's played since he's gone over to England. I just can't argue against him. I think he's going right to the top. I think he's going to win major tournaments for a club. You know,
country. You had to say, right?
Well, wait and see.
Never know.
You never know. But I could see him, depending on where he goes, depending on how he develops, how he gets on with Southampton, or what happens with that move.
Yeah.
Or if he gets any sort of move, I think he has the potential to win so much as well. He can go to a better team, and like a better team than Southampton, do much better. So I think Bazunu goes to the very top of the game. I really do. It's. I don't want to put that pressure on him, but there's nothing to suggest otherwise. So he's my number one.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I think he's a smashing young player, and you can see the character of the man. He doesn't get too carried away or anything. Like, he's come back, Shamrock Rovers season ticket holder, goes to all the games when he can. Like, he just seems like a top bloke. Like, he's not out partying. He's not in the headlines for any of the wrong reasons ever. He's on the Late Late Show and all. Like, he just seems like a proper nice lad, and he's just living his dream, and he's so settled, and he's so determined to be the best. And you kind of see Kelleher not comfortable sitting on the bench. You would maybe accuse him of being that, but he's kind of happy enough on the bench. Whereas Bazunu's like, I'm not playing on the bench every season. I'm not being a number two. I'm getting out there and being first choice keeper in Premier League. I know I'm good enough, which is amazing to see. And he has that world class mentality, I think.
The fact that he's previously come out and said the reason he moved to Man City was because he wanted to be Man City's number one. He said that already. You know, people can check his ego or whatnot. You move to a club. You're not going to be like, oh, I want to move here for money and development and be sent out on loan to a Championship, League One, or whatever.
Yeah,
you don't say you say that backing yourself, and he has. But at the same time, at UCD last week, he was signing every autograph, taking every photograph. He had no problem with it whatsoever.
Down to earth,
I'm looking over to God. Do I get one? But actually, you kind of feel bad, because you want him. He obviously there to watch the game, but he's no problem with doing any of that. And you have to admire that.
Yeah,
you know, he's kind of like a Seamus Coleman in a way.
Yeah,
he has that.
Yeah, you can see him being like a captain nearly in the future and stuff, can't you? You can see him being that type, like proper leader.
He is, yeah. And like, he cares about the people he's around with. Even going to like the under-12s games at Rovers. Yeah, he's constantly with them. Like, it's for a young fan, a young player, having that sort of player come to you, it's great. So fair play to him. He's a credit to obviously City, Portsmouth, Rochdale, Rovers. He's credit to Ireland. He's credit to his family. He's credit to everyone he knows. So,
he's an absolute legend. Absolute legend. Moving into the defenders, then probably no major surprises. Is this? I thought Cyrus Christie was in the squad for some reason. I don't think that's wrong. That's the wrong squad. Apologies. That is absolutely not that's the wrong side, but at least the keepers are right anyway. But I have it on my screen here. It's Seamus Coleman, Cyrus Christie, Enda Stevens, Ryan Manning, James McLean, Shane Duffy, John Egan, Nathan Collins, Lenihan, and Dara O'Shea. Probably only surprise being Cyrus Christie in there. Obviously Matt Doherty is injured, isn't he, at the moment? I believe so. So Cyrus Christie comes into the side. I want to touch on Nathan Collins though. Nominated for, wasn't it Player of the Month with Burnley? I know they got relegated in the end, so it was a bit of a blow for him on a personal level towards the end of the season. So here's the official squad. Nathan Collins, of course, massive blow getting relegated. But I'd be surprised not to see him get a Premier League move. He's been absolutely superb for Burnley second half of the season. He looks a smashing young talent and probably starts for us now these days.
He's the reason they were in that fight at the last game of the season as well.
Yeah.
Now I know that you could probably say they bottled it a little bit and whatnot, but without his goals during April and his performances during April, they wouldn't have been there.
No.
So, he's every right to earn himself a good move back to the Premier League. Wouldn't be surprised, but at the same time, Burnley, they'll be looking to come straight back up, and I'd say he'd like to be a part of that as well. But he's clearly good enough to be in the Premier League, but also if you have him in your team in the Championship, he has potential to take you to the top as well. So, you can't argue that,
Defo. Saw Seamus Coleman touch on that as well. The video, I'm not sure if you saw it, with Frank Lampard in the dressing room after they stayed up. Frank Lampard describing him as one of the best people he's ever worked with and best people he's ever met. Might have had a few beers before he said that. It's been a real night out chat, but it does speak volumes.
I love you, bro.
Yeah, it's not smoking area after 10 points. But it just shows you the character of Seamus Coleman that he's rated so highly, and I know he's made mistakes this season. He's probably past his best, but he never goes hiding. He always takes responsibility. Always just a top professional, and he's been a top class Premier League right back for 10 years or so. So yeah, for Seamus Coleman, it's great to see him in the squad. Obviously, no questions about it. And yes, it was nice to see Frank Lampard kind of giving him the respect he deserves. Yeah, exactly.
But it's the same with every manager that comes in Everton. They're all asked for Seamus Coleman, and they're nothing but praise. I think Lampard came out today in an interview or last night about it, and he was asked about the comments he made, and I'm only paraphrasing here. I can't remember the entire transcript, but he said something along the lines was Seamus came in the first day and outlined the issues, with the players in the squad, what's happened to the club, what the situation and everything. And he was very upfront and he was very accountable for her. This is the first day of meeting him. And he says Lampard said those conversations are going to remain private. But that's when Lampard was like, this fella clearly cares about the process and where the club is going and so on. And look, we're talking about Bazunu, Coleman's the exact same. He's going to go down in history as an Everton legend as well. I know they probably haven't had the success that they've wanted in terms of trophies as well, but he's been the heart and soul of that club for 10 years.
Definitely.
Or thereabouts. So he's again, he's a credit to us, he's a credit to Everton. And having Lampard say that to you, saying that not only he's a great player, but just the character in him as well. It's I'm not really surprised, by the way.
No, exactly, yeah. Move into midfield: Conor Horan, Josh Cullen, Jeff Hendrick, Jason Malumbi, Alan Brown, and Jason Knight. Probably no major shocks, I wouldn't say, in that. Maybe Jamie McGrath hasn't really got a look in at Wigan second half of the season, so you can't really make a case for him. I'm just trying to think. Obviously, maybe Jack Byrne, if he was fit, would he be getting a look in for you, or is he kind of a bit off the pace still?
No, I wouldn't say he's off the pace. I think he's still performing very well with Rovers. He's kind of got into it, but I think the fact that I nearly would have put Manju in ahead of Byrne. Not saying I would have put Manju in, to be honest with you, but if I was going to put anyone in, it'd probably be Manju, because his performances I felt recently have been better than Jacko's, and Jack's been phenomenal.
Yeah.
That'd be it. I'm not really disappointed about that. It pains me to say it, but the League of Ireland call up is a token call up for the Ireland squad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's more so to show, we have a League of Ireland player in the squad, and that's my opinion of it. They're not really going to. The player itself is going to gain, obviously the experience of training and stuff, but it's actually, I think the FA do a great job of highlighting that. It's Jack, say when Jack was in the squad one of the first times, they put up loads of photos about him taking crosses in, having shots, but he never got a look in. He got probably the most profile out of all the players, probably just because the League of Ireland, which isn't a bad thing, but it's more of a token thing.
Do you know who I think the most deserving League of Ireland call-up would have been in terms of how they've played this season and in terms of the position with the situation we have at the moment and how they suit the style of play. I genuinely think Andy Lyons is probably, especially with Matt Doherty out at the moment, Cyrus Christie's coming into the team. Yeah. He's obviously he can play right wing back, he can play left wing back, as he's shown on many occasions this season so far. He's probably on like that most credible call up we could have made, and you probably wouldn't have had any big arguments with it. He's been scoring goals this season. He's been playing so well, defending superbly. I think he's probably the one player that I would have, an outside shout, obviously, that I would have said maybe he could have got there on merit, like, and it wouldn't have been a big thing. But I suppose I think he's still in the under 21 side, isn't he? So he's probably getting time there and stuff. So it's important for his development that he's still getting that. But he's a player that I don't think is a million miles away, I wouldn't say.
Yeah, you're probably right. I'll probably retract that statement about Mandrew now, to be honest. Like, not that, like, I do think Mandrew and Byrne probably do deserve when they have been playing well, but you're probably right about Lyons. He scored 5 goals for us this season, but people are also forgetting his defensive prowess. Yeah. Like, he's actually a solid defender, but I haven't seen a wing back like challenge the opposite fullback like that as well. You know, fronting them up and, not afraid to go outside, inside, and then take a snapshot.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I wouldn't negate that at all.
Yeah. When you're seeing Cyrus Christie in there, like this, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's like, yeah, Andy Lyons' ceiling is definitely higher than Cyrus Christie's. Like,
it wouldn't be bad to get him like I said, be the token call up and, get the experience of training with the lads and so on. And, we play similar way, of course, but yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah, I'll take back what you said. I nearly agree with you there.
Lovely stuff. Of course, moving into the forwards, then Callum Robinson, no surprise. Troy Parrott, of course, no surprise, scored the winner in our latest game. Has had a really good season with MK Dons, of course, as well. Scott Hogan's in there. Robbie Keane, Will Keane, who was the top goal scorer in League One this season. Chidozie Ogbeni, of course, another player who was promoted to the championship with Rotherham and also won the Johnson's Paint Trophy as well. Michael Obafemi, brilliant to see him in there. I think it was 12 goals in his last 16 championship games. Probably our most informed striker and probably one that you hope for. Hopefully will get a lot of game time for Ireland and we can really see what he can do. A bit of a shock to see CJ Hamilton of Blackpool in there, a striker who's only scored 4 goals in like 26 games this season or something like that. So not the most inspiring call-up, I wouldn't say, but we will, of course, give him a chance, see what he can do. And it was great to see Festi Ebaseli in the squad as well. I think Kenny has come out and said he sees him as more of that kind of winger. I can obviously see him actually playing at maybe a wing-back role as well for us and filling in at right wing-back potentially as well. Gives that bit of versatility, but next really, really smashing season with Derby County this season. Has, of course, sealed a move to Udinese in Serie A. So it'll be interesting to see how his what he's up to next year in terms of if it's a loan move out back to England or wherever. But in terms of those forwards there, any big surprises for you? Obviously, Aaron Connolly left out as well. Any major shocks your end, or is it kind of what you expected?
I don't know anything about CJ Hamilton, to be honest. I don't know. I don't know anything about him at all. So I can't comment on that. It's the first I've ever heard of him, to be honest with you. Festi, yeah, absolutely delighted as well. He's been playing so well for Derby and one of the few shining stars of otherwise was a abysmal season for them.
Yeah.
So it's I'm delighted for him and he's got his move to Serie A, which he's going to do in the World Cup too. Obafemi, he's been patient, and Kenny was right to bring him in now, and he was right to leave him out before because the way Kenny analysed it, he was like he hasn't played a run of 3 games or something ever before in his career, so he wanted to see how he got on, if he kept performing well, and he clearly has. I think Kenny said it as well. He's changed his game completely. He's done so much more, and he's developed more as a player. So I know there was kind of inklings of Obafemi being frustrated with what was going on and being left out in the squad, but it was probably done on purpose because now look at him. He's back in the squad, but he's probably a better player than he was. what he thought he should have been in the squad. So, you know, you can't complain with that. Delighted for him, Festy, and for CJ Hamilton. Like that, I don't know much about him, but congratulating him as well. Hopefully, he gets a chance and win the games. But even still, it's good to be around. It's good to be around the squad. I think we've discussed Kenny has a habit of bringing players in. They might not get around the first time, but they keep performing, having that bite and, you know, eagerness to get back into the squad again, but to play.
Yeah,
it's only going to benefit him as well.
Yeah. I think it's an 18-day camp as well, so it's kind of a longer period than they usually get. So hopefully, be really, really beneficial to the whole squad. But yeah, overall, happy enough with the squad. Of course, we will be keeping an eye on the LOI action this weekend, and we'll be hopefully back next week to celebrate a huge Shells win at Tallaght Stadium. But Adzi,
absolutely not.
Adzi, as always, it has been an absolute pleasure, my friend.
No problem. Same to you, Ross. Good one again. Can't complain with that. It's been a while, so
yeah. We need to get back on the regular grind. But
the other boys are slacking. So
that's it. Jesus, big time. Yeah, big time. We're supposed to have nearly a full house tonight as well, and a few late dropouts. So We'll have to chase them up on it. But
I'm still a newcomer here. I'm making a show of everybody.
Yeah,
so come
on. Exactly. It's poor form. Fair play to you. If you can drop a like on the stream, guys, if you did enjoy it, though, if you can hit, I don't even know what we're on at the moment, but if you can hit around the 20-30 like mark, that would be fantastic. And please do subscribe. We're super, super close to 3K, and it is hugely encouraging for us to see us hit huge milestones like that. So all your support, as always, superbly appreciated. But yeah, thank you very, very much for tuning in, and we'll catch us next week. See you in a bit.
Cheers, boys.
Lovely.